Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there anyone in the audience, before we sit down, that would like to give a prayer or any kind words or anything like that? If not, I would just suggest that we all know that in the country right now, we are still experiencing a surge in illnesses related to the COVID. It has impacted those. The second go around seems to have brought it a lot closer to home. So let's just give some thoughts about that. People that we know are experiencing it, and give thoughts of comfort and blessings for those that are directly dealing with it. Thank you very much. Have your seat. Ms. Odom, can we please have roll call?
Yes, Mayor White.
Present.
Vice Mayor Hanchar is planning to.
Present.
Oh, you gotcha. Thank you. Councilwoman Williams.
Here.
Councilwoman Cabbage.
Present.
And we have been advised that Councilwoman Kinney is on her way.
Very good. So please make note that we do have a physical presence of 3 council members, which does give us a quorum. As far as Vice Mayor Hanchar, I'd like to propose a motion. Vice Mayor Hanchar's absence is because of extraordinary circumstances, and I'd like a motion to move that Vice Mayor Hanchar's absence at the joint special CRA and City Council budget meeting on September 27, 2021 is due to extraordinary circumstances in consideration of saying allow Vice Mayor Hanchar to attend the meeting via Zoom so long as physical quorum of the City Council is present for the meeting, which I have already said.
So.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who was the second?
Discussion. Second, Ms. Cubbage, you have a second?
I would second it.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passed unanimously. Please also take note that Councilwoman Kenny is en route, and she should be here at any time. Before we get started,
Mayor, may I finish roll call?
oh, okay, I didn't know you.
Jan Smith, Finance Department. Here. Troy Slattery, Public Works. Here. Julie Danowski, Clerks Department. Here. Lieutenant Yachts, Police Department. Here. We do not have legal counsel present this evening, but we do have Georgina Sid, Community Development Manager. Okay. And the agenda for this meeting was posted on the city's website and City Hall Bulletin Board on Monday, September 20th, 2021, and amended September 21, 2021 to allow Vice Mayor Hanchar's attendance via Zoom.
Very good, thank you. You need proof of publication next, or do I just
did that?
Okay, thank you very much. Just a few instructions for those that are attending the meeting. Number 1, thank you very much for attending. If you would like to speak at tonight's meeting, you're more than welcome to speak. We encourage it. The rules of the council meeting is that if you would like to speak, if you would sign up, we appreciate that. That gives us a record. If you do sign up, you get to go first. If you do not sign up, we still will ask you if you'd like to speak before we close out, having an opportunity to address the council. When you come to the podium to speak, you have 3 minutes, and please speak directly into the microphone. It is recorded, and we do have people listening in on Zoom, so it's very important that you speak into the microphone. If at this time, if you have any device that might ring, clang, or jingle or something like that, please turn it off. And with that said, if there's something on the agenda that you want to speak to, you wait till that agenda item is called up. If you want to speak to something that's not on the agenda, you will have an opportunity to do so right at the beginning of the meeting. So council, do we have any comments by anyone in the council at anything that's on the agenda as you see it? Any comments?
I do.
No comments.
No comments? All right. Now we are going to the public comments of non-agenda items. It's what I just described. This is your opportunity to talk to council about any subject you might want to speak about, as long as it's not on the agenda. If it's on the agenda, wait till we get to that item and you'll have an opportunity to speak. So this is an opportunity to tell us ideas, thoughts, suggestions, things you like, things you don't like. So, Ms. Odom, do we have anybody signed up to address council?
I do not, sir.
All right. Is there anyone in the room that would like to speak to the council on a non-agenda item? Yes, Ms. Dunn. Thank you.
Kathy Dunn, 11386 Hendricks Drive. First of all, I wanted to thank the council and the staff for facilitating the beautification committee or group, the beautification group. We've had our first work day, and our next work day is scheduled for October 22nd and 23rd, where we're going to be putting in some new landscape plants around City Hall. We are very excited about our new community planner, Georgina Sid, who came to the meeting that took place last Thursday to discuss projects and plans. The other thing that I wanted to talk about to City Council was to see if we could move the kiosk or use the kiosk for advertising of the meetings. Would it be possible to put on one side of that the upcoming meetings and maybe work with this community planner or with Mandy to come up with the best way to advertise the upcoming meetings? On one side, I was given permission to put up the ad for volunteer recruitment. The other thing is, we were wondering if possibly we could put up a bulletin board on the building to move the agendas that are in the kiosk out front, which are really unreadable because it's so small, to move those to put the agenda items on a bulletin board so they could be more readily read by the citizens. Just problem solving to get some of the paper that is stuck in the windows of the door out to neaten up the appearance of City Hall and make it more welcoming. So that was just my idea, and I wanted to throw that out and see if possibly we could get some money to do those things. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Odom, that would seem to be something that staff could talk about and discuss. I'm not necessarily think that council needs to make a decision on our bulletin board. Mm-hmm. So possibly get with Troy and get with those that have interest and see if there's a way. I will speak for myself, that bulletin board that's outside. On the 2 years that I served as a councilman, I was not even aware that that bulletin board existed. It's just something that you don't even know it's there. And I think for the most part, where it's at is basically unused. So I would have to agree that there is some place we can put it that's a lot more visible and would make it more useful.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it and see. Mayor, may I ask, where's the bulletin board?
So you've been on council longer than me, as long as me. Ms. Kenny, welcome.
Thank you.
Please make note.
I apologize for being late.
Yes. So you have 2 council members that have both stated for over 2 years we didn't even know the bulletin board existed. So that's pretty strong. All right. Any other comments on that? Seems pretty straightforward. Ms. Odom, we are at number 1, public hearing statement. Or unless there's anybody else that wants to speak. Anybody else? Anybody on Zoom? Non-agenda items? Okay.
I don't have any hands raised in Zoom. Okay. Agenda item number 1, public hearing statement. All persons wishing to address the city council will be asked to limit their comments to the specific subject being addressed. Public opinions and input are valued by the council. However, it is requested that comments are directed at specific issues rather than personal comments directed toward council members or staff in order to foster mutual respect between council members and the public. Members of the public in attendance at public forums should listen courteously and attentively to all public discussions before the body and focus on the business at hand. They shall refrain from interrupting other speakers, making personal comments not germane to the business of the body, or otherwise interfering with the orderly conduct of meetings. Members of the public addressing city council on a specific project or proposal are requested to disclose any personal interest or relationship and any business, professional, or financial interest with any individual, group, project, or proposal regarding the subject matter under review. Members of the public should always err on the side of more public disclosure, not less, in order to provide integrity to the public process.
Okay, thank you very much. We are now moving to agenda item number 2. Public hearing on 2021 final millage rate and final budget for the city of Dunnellon for the 2021-2022 budget year, advertised on the city's website on 9/20/2021 and in the Riverland News on 9/23/2021. Public hearing procedures are for the final millage and budget. This is a public hearing on the final millage rate, the final budget for the city of Dunnellon for the 2021-22 budget year. Final millage rate for the city of Dunnellon is 6.500, which is 3.18% greater than the rollback rate of 6.2995. Final budget that is proposed for the city is $4,152,556. Gavel down. It is now 5:50 p.m. and I close the regular meeting and open the public hearing for staff to first make a presentation and then to anyone wishing to address the city council on either the proposed millage rate or 2021-2022 budget. First, we'd like to call on staff to make a presentation as to the millage rate and the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Honorable Mayor and City Council, pursuant to the city charter, the proposed budget for fiscal year 2021-2022 is submitted for review and adoption by City Council. There are 2 documents that are associated with the budget. One is a budget summary, and this document provides a line item review of multiple prior fiscal year's actuals, and then the 2021 budget actuals and projected year end. The other document is a line item detail budget, which provides all the detail associated with every line item that the city expenses to. The first thing I'll talk about is 2021 budget highlights this current year. Our transfers in are projected to come in under budget, primarily due to capital projects that are advancing to the new fiscal year. Approximately $1 million worth of projects are advancing. Repaving of Ohio and Cedar Street, the construction or rehabilitation of a police facility, the continuation of the stormwater asset mapping project, which is grant funded through SwiftMud, and the city provides 50% of the cost of that, and replacement of City Hall carpet and flooring. Revenue for this current year is projected to come in over budget, primarily due to taxes and the 1 cent discretionary sales surtax, $185,000. That tax was not readopted until January of 2021, and we did not budget for readoption. Excuse me. And building permit revenue, we're projecting it to come in greater than budget by about $25,000. Expenses are projected to be under budget by about $1 million, and it's primarily due to the projects that are being carried forward. So the net effect to the general fund is a projected surplus of about $271,000, and that will be deposited into reserves subject to the year-end audit. Again, we're looking at the discretionary sales surtax of about $188,000. $12,900 is to be reserved strictly for capital expenditures per the city's fund balance policy. And we're looking at, maybe about $70,000 just deposited to general fund unrestricted. Again, that is subject to the year-end audits. This results in staff managing the general fund budget 6 consecutive years without needing to draw from reserves to cover operating expenses. As of June 30th, we have about $5.6 million of general fund cash on hand, allocated amongst unassigned, assigned, and committed reserves, with varying restrictions as to when and how they're used, either by council or state statute. Accomplishments for the general fund this current year. Water and sewer road resurfacing improvements in the historic district have been completed. $1.1 million project, which was primarily grant funded by $950,000. The city's contribution was $103,000. Construction of a 33-space parking lot at Short Tower Way. Fulfillment of goal number 3 of the economic development strategy to promote entrepreneurship. We provide the venue for the CEP Fast Track program, and that's ongoing now. Departmental and staff restructuring provided a net savings of $22,000. Then other capital projects, a city beach shade shelter, and 3 patrol vehicles, which were 75% grant funded. And we completed our first full year of the fund balance policy implementation. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, staff continued the availability of multiple options for the public to participate in the city meetings in person through Zoom, and also you can view it on the city's YouTube channel. Moving on to the Tax Increment Financing District, or better known as CRA. Expenses, there was construction of a 73-space parking lot, resurfaced basketball court, and construction of a pickleball court at Ernie Mills Park. Funding reserved and set aside for grants to residential and commercial property owners in the amount of $70,000. To date, the applications have only amounted to $2,800 that has been received and processed. Marion County is overseeing the construction of a restroom at Blue Run Park. To date, permits have not been pulled. And the 125 anniversary park has been carried forward to the new fiscal year. We've continued setting aside funds for the East Pennsylvania County Road 484 project, multimodal enhancement project. The CRA board has committed $350,000 over 7 years to help with the city with a match for that project at approximately $50,000 per year. To date, we have set aside $303,760. Moving on to the new budget for next year. This will be the 5th year that the city has successfully held the millage rate to 6.5 mils after reducing it 7.5 mils. The 6.5 millage rate is 3.18% greater than the rollback rate of 6.2995 mils. Property values have increased approximately 4% citywide, and this general fund will realize an increase of $59,231 in ad valorem proceeds by keeping the millage rate the same as our current fiscal year. The certification of taxable value was 7 mills. That was approved July 14th, 2021. However, we're providing a balanced budget at 6.5 mills without using reserves to offset operational costs. We held several budget workshops, July 7th, 21st, August 18th, and September 1st, and this is our second of 2 required public hearings to adopt the budget for next year. The proposed general fund operating budget is $4,152,556, and it consists of the following percentages broken out. Personnel expenses, 34.2%, operating expenses, 24%, grants, 0.1%, capital expenses, 37.1%, debt service, 4.2%, and 0.4% of the budget will be retained and deposited into restricted capital reserves at year end in continued compliance with the city's fund balance policy. Expenses have increased over fiscal year 2021 by about $41,000, primarily due to other contractual obligations such as IT and Marion County Animal Control. Staff and City Council are both committed to continue the pursuit of additional revenue opportunities and reducing expenses in an effort to continue to enhance the general fund. The tax increment financing district, budget for next year is proposed at $624,714, a 16% decrease over our current fiscal year. This is primarily due to a decrease in funding from reserves for capital projects. The Tift budget consists of the following percentages: personnel, 7.3%, operating expenses, 9.5%, capital expenses, 67.2%, grants and aid, 16.1%. The capital projects, which make up the majority of the TIF budget, are proposed at Marion County, continuing to construct the restroom facility at Blue Run Park. We budgeted originally back in 2017, $30,000. Marion County was paid $18,000 so far, and we've continued to carry the balance of $12,000 forward each year to help with design and permitting. West Penn Streetscape Phase 2, which is a continuation of our fiscal year 18-19 project. Irrigation has already been installed, landscaping completed, and park benches purchased and installed. Continuation of Phase 2 entertains the concept of intersection upgrades and gateway infrastructure and stamped brick concrete. We also have budgeted historic district gateway signs, Ernie Mills beautification, the 125 anniversary park, it has been carried over. Wayfinding signage, which is a goal in the economic development strategy. Another goal in the economic development strategy is an analysis of vacant or underutilized buildings. Other budgetary highlights overall, there's a part-time police officer that's moving to full-time. We have 1 new full-time public works service worker, contracted information technology support, which I mentioned earlier, public works vehicle replacement, which is going to be funded by the 1-cent sales tax. This is the 3rd year of us successfully funding council contingency, $40,824 for any unanticipated expenses. There's an employee performance-based merit program. And as I mentioned earlier, this is the 2nd year of compliance with our fund balance policy to take a portion of the revenue received and deposit it directly into capital replacement. Staff has successfully acclimated to the operating adjustments and workload shift caused by personnel and departmental restructuring. Council's participation, guidance, and overall support of staff's effort is greatly appreciated. And this concludes my presentation for the final budget hearing. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
No
Nope.
questions. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jan. I know you put ungodly hours into putting this all together. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anything from staff that would like to add to this?
I'd just like to thank Jan again. She's done a great job.
Okay, now we go to public comment. Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak to the proposed budget or the millage rate? Please note, Ms. Odom, anyone on Zoom?
No, sir.
Please note there's no public comment. Council discussion on the budget. We're getting close to finalizing this. Is there anyone on council that has any comments so far on where we're at with the budget?
Well, I would just say that Jan has brought a series of these meetings forward, and they are beginning to take place in terms of my understanding, not completely, I have to say. But the quality of your presentations has been very much appreciated.
Very good. Anyone else?
Jan, thank you very much for the hard work that you've put into this. And I know that your doors are always open should we have questions.
Yes, ma'am.
I do not envy your job. But thank you.
I'd like to comment also.
Sure, go ahead.
And I don't know how you do this. It would give me a migraine, to especially these endless budget line items. And thank you so much for your intense concentration to get it right. Greatly appreciate it.
Yes. And without going overboard with the compliments, Jan,
Oh, come on.
keep it up. Right?
Sure.
The idea you have to do all this work, and much of it, I know you have assistants, but much of it really is on your shoulders. And then you have to go through a scrutinized audit every year that actually double checks your work, which puts you under the gun. And additionally, and to come out of these audits, at least since I've been on council, I haven't heard of a blip or a slip up anywhere. So keep up the good work.
Thank you. I don't do it alone.
Yes, I know you have some. Okay, at this time, it looks like all the comments have been heard.
Vice Mayor Hanchar would like to make a comment.
Who?
Vice Mayor Hanchar.
Oh, okay, absolutely,
Okay.
yes.
Hey, Jan, and to all the staff, I want to thank y'all. I know we went over this line by line to make sure it was all done right, and it's never easy, but congratulations to the citizens of Dunnellon for yet again staff really making sure that they hold tight to the budget and still trying to perform the duties that we are and the services that we want to give to our citizens. So thank you very much for all of your hard work, to all of the staff, and Jan, of course. You always put those numbers right in the right location, so thank you very much. And to the City Council for encouraging us to always do our best.
Very good, thank you.
And then I appreciate the fact that you're giving credit where credit is due. Teamwork, you can't beat it. Together, everybody achieves more.
Okay, anything else? Very good, all comments have been made. It is now 6:07 p.m. and I close the public hearing held to discuss the proposed millage rate and 2021-2022 budget and reopen the regular council meeting. So now we are moving on to agenda item number 3, the proposed resolution 2021-14 setting the final 2021 tax millage rate. At this time, you again have an opportunity for any public comment on the proposed millage rate of 6.5, which has been consistent with what we've done for the last several years. No public comment? Okay. Is there a motion to read resolution 2021-14 into the record? Can I have
So
a
moved.
second? Ms. Kenny,
Yes, second.
any council discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
Resolution number RES 2021-14, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Dunnellon, Florida, adopting the final millage rate for the City of Dunnellon for the fiscal year commencing on October 1, 2021, and ending on September 30, 2022. Whereas the City Council for the City of Dunnellon met on September 13, 2021, at 5:30 p.m. at City Hall, 20750 River Drive, Dunnellon, Florida 34431, to consider the tentative amount of the tax millage to be collected on all real and personal property in the City of Dunnellon, Florida for the year 2021 in the amount of 6.5 mils. And whereas the City Council of the City of Dunnellon, Florida does hereby adopt its final millage rate of 6.5 mils to be levied for the general fund upon all real and tangible personal property located within the boundaries of the above named taxing authority. And whereas the final levy of 6.5 mils is 3.18% greater than the rollback rate of 6.2995 mils. And whereas the final millage rate of 6.5 is for the calendar year 2021 to fund the expenses for the fiscal year commencing on October 1, 2021 and ending September 30, 2022, duly adopted by the City Council at a regular meeting held on the 27th day of September 2021.
Thank you, Ms. Odom. Now, is there a motion to adopt resolution 2021-14 setting the final millage rate of 6.5000 for the year 2021-2022? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, Ms. Williams made the motion. Can we have a second? Ms. Kenny?
Second.
Any additional discussion? No discussion, please note. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. So for the record, the final millage rate now adopted by the City Council is 3.18% greater than the rollback rate of 6.2995. I'm going to close special City Council meeting and open the special CRA meeting. It is now 6:10 p.m. and I close the special City Council meeting and open the special CRA meeting. Congratulations, council, staff. Job well done. Now we're moving to agenda item number 4. This is the proposed resolution 2021-13 adopting a budget. We just did the millage rate. Now we're adopting a budget for the City of Dunnellon Community Redevelopment Agency for the fiscal year 2021-2022. Is there public comment on agenda item number 4? Andy, do we have anyone that's calling in that would like to make a comment?
No, sir.
Okay. Is there a motion to read resolution 2021-13 into the record? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay. Vice Mayor Hanchar made the motion, seconded by Councilwoman Williams. Any discussion? Please note no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Annie, please read.
Resolution number RES 2021-13, a resolution of the City of Dunnellon Community Redevelopment Agency adopting a budget for the City of Dunnellon Community Redevelopment Agency for fiscal year 2021-2022, providing for repeal of prior inconsistent resolutions providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. Whereas the City Council of the City of Dunnellon, Florida adopted ordinance number 2000-3, creating the City of Dunnellon Community Redevelopment Agency, or CRA, pursuant to Part 3, Chapter 163, Florida statutes. And whereas the CRA is a dependent special district under Chapter 189 Florida statutes, known as the Uniform Special District Accountability Act of 1989, or ACT. And whereas the Act requires all special districts, including dependent special districts such as the CRA, to adopt a budget for each fiscal year by resolution. And whereas the City of Dunnellon Community Redevelopment Agency desires to comply with the requirement of the Act and take this action in order to do so. Section 1, the foregoing recitals are deemed true and correct and are hereby fully incorporated herein by this reference and are deemed a material part of this resolution. Section 2, adoption of the budget. The board members of the City of Dunnellon Community Redevelopment Agency do hereby approve and adopt a budget attached hereto as Exhibit A for the CRA for fiscal year 2021-22, beginning October 1, 2021, and ending September 30, 2022. Section 3, repeal of prior inconsistent resolutions. All prior resolutions or parts of resolutions in conflict herewith are hereby repealed to the extent of the conflict. Section 4, severability. If any section, subsection, sentence, clause, phrase, or portion of this resolution is for any reason held invalid or unconstitutional by any court of competent jurisdiction, such portion shall be deemed a separate, distinct, and independent provision, and such holding shall not affect the validity of the remaining portion hereto. Section 5, effective date. This resolution shall become effective immediately upon its adoption by the board members of the City of Dunnellon Community Redevelopment Agency. Adopted at a regular meeting of the board members of the City of Dunnellon Community Redevelopment Agency this 27th day of September, 2021.
Thank you. Now, is there a motion to adopt Resolution 2021-13, adopting the CRA budget in the amount of $624,714 for the City of Dunnellon, as proposed for the 2021-2022 fiscal year? Do we have a motion?
So,
Ms. Williams, do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Kenny? Any discussion? Please note no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. So this closes the special CRA meeting and reopens the special City Council meeting. It is now 6:15 p.m. and I close the special CRA meeting and reopen the special City Council meeting. We are now moving to agenda number 5. This is the proposed resolution 2021-15, setting the fiscal year 2021-2022 general fund budgets. So at this particular time, since this is a new agenda item, is there any public comment on agenda item number 5? No public comment in the room. Ms. Odom, anyone on Zoom that would like to make a public comment?
No, sir.
Okay. Is there a motion to read Resolution 2021-15 into the record? Is there a motion?
Resolution 2021-15 be read into the record.
Ms. Kenny makes the motion. Any second? I have a second.
Second.
Second motion.
Okay. We got it with Ms. Covage got the second. Any addition, any discussion on this? Please note that there is no council discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Andy, please read.
Resolution number RES 2021-15, a resolution adopting the budget for the City of Dunnellon for the fiscal year commencing on October 1, 2021, and ending on September 30, 2022. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Dunnellon, Florida, that the proposed expenditures in the final budget are $4,152,556. The budget is based upon taxable value of real property of $173,965,039, personal property of $21,363,883, centrally assessed property of $635,945, and anticipated non-ad valorem revenues of $3,412,185. The final budget is approved and shall become effective at the beginning of the 2021-22 fiscal year, and the taxing authority funds may be expended commencing on October 1, 2021, and ending on September 30, 2022. Funds of the 2021-22 final budget not expended during fiscal year 2021-22 may be used and expended during subsequent fiscal years. Duly adopted by the City Council at the regular meeting held on the 27th day of September 2021.
Thank you very much. Is there now a motion to adopt Resolution 2021-15, setting the final general fund budget in the amount of $4,152,556 for the City of Dunnellon as proposed for the 2021-2022 fiscal year? We have a motion.
So moved.
Ms. Williams, do we have a second?
Second.
Vice Mayor Hanchar. Any discussion? Please note no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimous. Looks like we're to the last one on these, item number 6. Approval of the final tax increment financing district budget. On item number 6 on the agenda, is there any public comment? Please note, there is no public comment in the room. Andy, is there any public comment on Zoom?
No, sir.
All right. Please note, no public comment. Is there a motion to adopt the final tax increment financing district budget in the amount of $624,714? Do I have a motion?
I move the final fiscal year 21-22 tax increment financing district budget in the amount of $624,714,000 be approved as presented.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Williams, any discussion? Please note, no council discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Excellent. So, Ms. Odom, if I'm correct, we are done with our finances, correct?
Yes, sir.
I guess this is the appropriate time to say congratulations, right?
Yes.
Okay, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
As difficult as that was to listen to, it was that difficult for me to get through all that. So, thank you for the help, Ms. Odom, on that. Okay, we're at item number 7, which is council comments. Do we have any council comments? We'll start off with Ms. Cubbage. Do you have any council comments, Ms. Cubbage?
Other than, I would like to thank the public for conferring with us and counseling with us, and I think they are quite pleased also with what has transpired this budget.
Okay, that's it, huh? Ms. Kenny?
No comments.
Ms. Williams?
I don't really have any comments, but I'd like to make a comment on this cottage. I saw that you went to bat for the substitute teachers, so that was a good thing. For $100 a day, I might go into that application. So that was good.
And we got it. Thank you very much.
Vice Mayor, do you have any comments?
Hey, I'm just sorry I can't be there, and like you said in the beginning, please everybody stay safe. Even though my husband and I were both vaccinated, sadly, here I am, but coming out on the other side. But I wanted to thank staff again for all their hard work, the city council for digging in and trying to figure this all out. I've been doing these for a long time, and they can still be very confusing at times, that's for sure, but Jan and staff make it a lot easier to understand. I just will say that I had a meeting today, and if we think our, internet and stuff sometimes gives us fits and we don't understand why, well, the county, they had FDOT online today, and we could barely hear them, so I give kudos out to the city for doing a good job on our Zoom and internet.
Very good. Anything else? Vice Mayor?
No, that was it. I appreciate all y'all's hard work.
Thank you so much. All right, I have a few comments. They'll be quick and right to the point. I have some good news, and I'm not going to take any of Troy's thunder. I'm just going to say a word or two, and if Troy wants to pick up when it's his opportunity, please. So one of the things that we've been trying to do for a year is to get some weather pavilions put in at City Beach. That is actually happening with Troy supervising it. Manny, if you can pull those up, I just want to show a few photos. And Troy, I'm not going to say too much if you want to talk to this. Here's just some photos I took a couple days ago. I'll go through them, Manny. We're putting one in right now. How it's going to look. That's a real good shot right there. So we're going to have 3 of them over the picnic tables. This one, I guess, is the one that's down. If you're looking toward the water, it's on the far left-hand side. So it gives people an opportunity that are using City Beach to get out of the direct sun, or if it happens to rain, to get out of the rain. And I think I have one more. So talking with Troy, he wanted to start off with one of them to make sure we were satisfied with the quality of the construction and the design. So that's all I'm going to say on that, Troy. When you get to your turn, you can take off on that. Okay? I'm not going to say any more. And Troy, I am thrilled about that. That is going to move City Beach up 5 lengths as far as enjoyment. That's super good. One thing I noticed when I visited out there, there's a lot of children there naturally. And if we're going to improve any playground equipment based on use, it would seem to me that that playground equipment at City Beach is probably used as much as any. A lot of kids out there, and they jump in the water and they get cold and want something to do. And so I would focus, if we have to decide which ones to do first, if it was my decision to make, I would definitely be looking at that playground because of the amount of use. Also, we need to take a look at the weeds, which we've had some get-togethers going out there, getting some of the weeds out of the swimming area. Still looks pretty good, but it's getting close that we need to get out there and get after that a little bit. Mandy, please put on the next coming workshop or meeting. We have a request from a group from hospice that has asked if we would write a letter on their behalf stating that we are in favor of having another hospice in Dunnellon, and they've asked for a letter of support. So bring that to council's attention next time. Okay. Another thing I want to show is this is what Troy is dealing with. I find when I spend time with Troy, the more I spend with him, the more I just realize how much he is dealing with. Between the general maintenance, which in itself is a backbreaker, just keeping things up to speed, trash, cutting, repairs, that's enough to run you ragged. And then when you see some of these monstrous things that are in front of him, it makes you really appreciate. And I think council has realized that, and we are trying to fund you as best we can. I think we've showed that a little bit. Andy, I took a few pictures of some of the roads and the area of flooding that Troy was dealing with over the last couple weeks that was brought to my attention. Here's a picture in Hot Springs down on Cherokee Circle, and I guess Osceola. That is where a storm pipe apparently was blocked and pretty much made that road where the water would almost come up over halfway up your tire, and it stayed like that for a couple weeks. That's Troy and his workers out there trying to resolve that. Okay, Mandy. There it is. That is a road there. Okay, Andy, one more. You see how deep that is, and that's.
You step off by those mailboxes, you're up to your waist in water. There's a ditch and a drain system that you don't even know is there.
Yeah, yeah. So these are sort of phone calls. He gets, Troy has his day set to do X, Y, Z, and he gets a phone call like this. And everything he had planned goes on the wait list. We'll have one more, I think, maybe. And that's just another, you can see the wick. I guess someone just drove by. I think you can see. So if you have a house there, you can actually surf in front of your house maybe. But it's quite amazing. Troy went out and got a 3-inch pump to pump that water out, and interested to hear what the final outcome is of that. And Mandy, if we can just show a few pictures of roads, and when we're talking about putting extra money into roads, this will give you an idea. Here again, this is on Troy. Here is a road. Now, this is one of the worst I've ever seen. Certainly most of our roads are not this bad. But this is actually a road called River Road, I believe. Riverview, right by the train depot. Okay, Mandy can take another picture. You can see where it's actually impassable, where cones have been put into the grass, so people that are using that road have to go into the grass. The pipe that's been put into the ground demonstrates that there's a cavity underneath the road getting ready to cave in. So if you drove on that, it's a possibility that road could even cave in. Okay, one more, Mandy, or two more. That's just a close-up, and I think I have one more. There we go. So this is you know, what we're dealing with our roads. It's almost to an emergency situation. And I think council and the city wants to do something about this, and we're aware of it, and it comes down to financing. But this is what, when Troy wakes up in the morning, this is what he's dealing with. How do I solve this? How do I make this go away? It's pretty, The best part about spending the day with Troy is saying, I'll see you tomorrow. You know, I get to go home while you stay out there. You know? All right, just some bits and pieces. For those of you that are aware, we're having a FDOT, Florida Department of Transportation, meeting tomorrow, Mandy. Is it tomorrow?
Yes.
5 p.m. in this room. I'm going to talk about changing the crosswalk by the Blue Gator and changing the turn lanes. So anybody that's interested in that, the state will be here. I would advise anybody that has an opinion or an interest to show up. This will be their second meeting with us. Normally, once governments meet 2 times, they pretty much kind of are trying to gear up and go forward. Someone has hacked into my city email address. So if anyone on council gets a weird email, like, please send me $10,000. I wouldn't, you know it's not me because I'd only be asking for 5. So someone is, it's kind of more mischief than anything. I don't know how they do it or what we should do to stop that. So don't respond to them. Or if they're suspicious, get a hold of Mandy or even the chief. He's been working on it to see what we can do about that. Troy, Chief, and I took a field trip today. We went to a place called Oxford Downs. Oxford Downs is a card room, poker room that's right near the Villages. The reason we went there is they have a 11,000 square foot modular building. We met with the owner, and he must have spent an hour and a half with us. He went over all the issues with the modular building, the pros and cons. Couldn't have been more accommodating. learned a ton about that. So as you know, Mandy, I think on our next meeting coming up, we do have some discussion on the police building and what we want to do, correct? If we don't, we need to have it on there.
You asked that it be scheduled for the next workshop for discussion.
Right. So we do have a consideration. We do know where there's some vacant property for sale. Council needs to start giving direction on that. And hopefully, staff will be able to get council some hard numbers on what the modular building may cost and compare it hopefully with a regular constructed building. We just need to have some hard numbers so we know what we can do and what we can't do. Jordiana, I have a little challenge for you in our Ernie Mills Park, which is kind of one of our main parks in the city outside of Blue Run Park. It's a beautiful park right across from Public Works. In everybody's opinion, it's pretty much underutilized. We're trying to figure out ways to encourage people to go there. With the new parking areas and the pickleboard court, here again, Project Troy oversaw it came out really nice. And I'm trying to look at this park somehow, some way, and find a little area. It doesn't have to be big to begin with. A little area we can fence off and have a little dog park in there so people would be encouraged to come to the park and maybe sit on a bench for a while with their dog. I know there's some issues that dog parks must be a certain distance from a residential home. I don't know if it's possible, but if you could look into that, we certainly have a lot of space there that's not being used. Okay? Appreciate that. And the only other thing I have, we have a, Mandy, if you could just remind us when our next meeting is. It's, we have a special meeting coming up.
3:30 on October 6th, prior to your regular 5:30 workshop on October 6th.
October 6th. Okay. Very good. And the 3:30 to 5:30 is going to focus again on the Blue Run Park.
Correct.
Okay. We're hoping to tighten that up real good, and it would be all of the council's goals, I think, to try to have that ordinance in play by the holidays. So it would give ample notice before the season, 2 or 3 months before the season begins, that the ordinances have been changed. I think making sure we get this done in a timely way, so those that may be impacted by it have a timely notice is important. So one of the reasons I keep calling these special workshops and keep pushing this, it's really important, in my opinion, to try to get this done before we get too close to the next season. Still, after we get done with it, it still has to go to the Planning Commission. And then from the Planning Commission, it has to come back out of the Planning Commission, it has to come back to us 2 more times. So if you add it up, you know, we still have a ways to go to get this done. So I'm hoping to do that. So with that said, that is my comments. I'm finished. All right. We go to the staff reports now. What's next? Lost my way.
Department head comments.
Department heads. I'll let you, Jan, you said enough. All right, Troy, why don't you pick up the ball and run with it?
I really don't want to, but yes, I will. First of all, thanks for pointing out the pavilion at the City Beach. It's coming along very well. Mandy, if you'll pull that photo back up, the only issue we have there with the pavilion at the City Beach is there's a little droop in the center of it. That slab is actually tilted. The back right or the front right corner that you see here is 1.5 feet higher than the left front going towards the river. So because of that, the structure's got a little sway to it in the middle, but the contractor's going to look at it. Engineers have approved it, and the inspection has passed with 100%. He said it's actually overbuilt, very strong. So not concerned with the structural integrity. All right. But other than that, it should be finished up this week. Okay. Okay, on to two more very important things. The road in Vought Springs, the Osceola and Cherokee flooding. We've actually drained that road twice. The first time we pumped it was over 50,000 gallons. It took us 4.5 hours to pump. Second time we did it in 2 hours, so we only had about 20 to 30,000 gallons down there. And it's been dry all weekend. So within the next couple of days, the drain structures will be exposed enough where we can begin work to find out what's causing that problem. That did take a special permit through Swift Mud to do that emergency pumping operation. They're very accommodating and had me my permit in hand and a site visit within 48 hours of my request. And we were able to buy the equipment and the manpower and not exceed $2,000 for the total operation for both days of pumping. Okay, I think we spent $1,300 on equipment, and it's ours now for any future events rather than just contracting it. More importantly, the last one that you had pointed out, Mr. Mayor, there on Riverview. This occurred, I want to say around the 16th. I was notified about a hole in the road right after work, about 6 o'clock. We went out there, we put barricades up, and started working on a plan over the next 24 hours to get that road fixed. In the meantime, through discovery and review, we found out that that property is owned by CSX Railroad. The road is actually constructed on CSX property. So originally they believe, Florida Northern Railroad believes that that road was originally put in by the railroad as an access for servicing of the tracks and stuff. So according to the Marion County property appraisers, that road belongs to the railroad company. So with that, I figured, well, I can't do any work on railroad property without a special permit or acknowledgement. So it took a few days. I met out there with their Florida Northern, who leases the railroad from CSX, and they're only responsible up to 30 feet from the track. Anything beyond that, CSX is responsible for. So we're waiting to hear back from them. Last I heard from Florida Northern was that it's a possibility that that road has been turned over or leased to either the city or to those residents at some point for free use and access. So we're still trying to determine who's responsible for repairing, replacing, rebuilding that road, and especially the hole that had opened up as a result of a storm pipe coming from the railroad under the road to the river. So in either case, the storm drain system appears to belong to CSX. So until we can figure this out, it could take weeks, it could take months. I had a contractor come out, take a look at the scenario. He gave me a quote to do an emergency repair on just the pipe and repack the road with lime rock, no asphalt, for $4,700 and change, just under $5,000. My major concern is you've got residents and you've got a commercial business down that road. Right now, with the detour that we have, one, it's not going to hold up because it's in the ditch and it's in mud. But two, it's limited access. You can't get a garbage truck down to those folks, and which tells me we're going to have a hard time getting an ambulance, a fire truck, or emergency vehicles down there in the meantime. So Florida Northern did send me an email. Let me read this to you so I don't misquote anybody. It says, Troy, as we both confirmed the road and storm drain ownership, meaning as we're both looking into this, please accept this email as confirmation that Florida Northern Railroad has no obligation to the city performing the necessary repairs to Riverview and surrounding storm structures. And then it goes on to say, I can't do anything within 25 feet of the railroad tracks. So, but I'm asking council for your support and backing to go ahead and get this repair done, to open the road for services, especially emergency services, to those residents, and then allow me to move forward with communicating with CSX, Florida Northern, and possibly our city attorney to determine ownership and responsibility for that road and the stormwater components.
So you're asking for the authority to spend up to $5,000 to fix it.
Just under 5,000.
Right.
And believe it or not, well, I want to be careful how I say this, but under the 5,000, Mandy does have the authorization to approve it. And if it was clear cut that this was our road and our responsibility, we would have already processed that purchase order and work would begin as soon as the contractor's available. But because we're trying to determine ownership and responsibility of this roadway, I would like council's approval to do this emergency repair. And if it comes back that it is CSX, then we submit to them the bill for potential reimbursement.
So they either pay it or refuse, but at least the road's fixed.
Yes, sir.
That's that road behind the bingo hall.
Yes, ma'am.
And I assume that you've talked to the attorney.
I briefly had a discussion with the attorney when I first discovered that we may be working on somebody else's property, somebody else's problem. And I can't quote an exact description of what he said, but basically what it boiled down to was this is an emergency situation. I'm sure it can be done. However, tread lightly, make sure you get everything in line. So our contractor's ready to go. The material they need for that pipe, the only place to get it is Orlando. So if he's having a hard time finding it, this is what they do on a regular basis. Any other contractor's going to have a hard time as well. So that makes me believe, one, I haven't heard back from CSX. If I do hear back from, how long is it going to take them to get motivated to do the repair, or can they do it? So I know we can have it done probably within the next 10 days.
So the question I would have is, that road is currently paved, although it's in bad shape.
Right.
So chances are, I doubt if what is it?
CSX.
CXS?
SX.
SX, yeah, CSX. I really doubt if maybe they were the ones that originally asphalted it. They probably haven't used that road for years.
You're right, and they may not have. That road was, like I said, a service road back in
So
the day.
we might find that the original asphalt that's currently on it was done possibly by the city to begin with, maybe. So to me, I'm quite surprised they can do that for 5,000 or less. That's good news.
It's no asphalt.
Right. So where you're at with it, as long as it's under $5,000, staff has the authority, Mandy has the authority to put that in play. You would need council's involvement if it was more than that. But basically what you're saying is you want to make sure you have council's backing because we're not sure of the ownership of the property.
If this comes to a greater conversation in the future, I don't want it to be a surprise to council that, I don't want to get in a routine of fixing or repairing private or other entities, mistakes. It'd be like me trying to fix a water pipe in the middle of the night for FGUA. You certainly wouldn't want to spend the taxpayers' money on it. But I know if that were the case, FGUA would reimburse us, right? This one here is kind of up in the air, unknown. But I think my primary objective here is to get service and access back to these residents in the time being.
Well, I think your point's a good one. How it currently, the state of affairs, it's impassable. And you have homes back there and you have a business back there. So if we took the stance, well, there's nothing we can do until we get this cleared up, something like this, as far as the ownership could take 30 days, 60 days, who knows? So in the meantime, it sits like that, and you have a road that's impassable, and I think your point is really good. That's a business that has a lot of kayakers, and so there's a reasonable chance that you'll have first responder reasons to visit something when people are coming off those trips. As we have found at Blue Run Park, we often have people that have heat exhaustion, they're dehydrated and whatever. So to have that road where you can't even get through it properly with a first responder, I'd be hard pressed to tell you, don't do it. I mean, I don't know how we could say no.
Right. I just wanted to make sure council was fully aware, and I had your support and your backing on that. I'll move forward, contact the contractor first thing in the morning and make sure he's still ready to go and get it done.
Well, I would certainly support it because the public welfare is what the government is here for.
Right.
On the other hand, I would think our attorney Hand would be able to look at some of the technicalities that you will find as you research it.
So that, I guess that opens the second question. Do you want me to go ahead and ask the attorney what he thinks what he can do to help us find out the ownership and get
I
him
would.
moving?
In favor of that.
Well, that's the proper thing to do. I guess what we'd be all afraid of if he would say, well, you can't do it until we get it resolved. And then the problem is.
I don't think it's going to stop the work, seeing as how I got the email, and I've been in communications with Florida Northern, and I have reached out to CSX. I'm sure I'll have a call back with them.
So if they would write a letter that although they're taking a position, we're not responsible for the maintenance or the repair, but we're okay with you guys repairing it, then that would be all we would need if they said fine.
And that's what's in that email.
That's
It's
what's in the,
why we determine ownership.
right,
They're okay with us doing the emergency
doing the
repair.
repairs.
So in my understanding of that would be, even if they didn't want us to do the repair, there's no way they can get on it within the next 10 days the
Right.
way we can. You see what I mean? They're going to have to go out and do the same thing, find somebody to do the work. So I'm already steps ahead of them.
So council, do you want to suggest we go forward with this, or do you want to wait and let legal take a look at it, and we have our
I think that
next meeting in October?
Mr. Mayor,
Simultaneously, I think time is of the essence, and we would want it to start as quickly as possible.
I agree.
So what are you suggesting? Just go with
Mr.
it?
Mayor,
Move forward.
Yes, Vice Mayor Clay.
hey, I'll even put in a motion that this is an emergency and that we authorize Public Works to go forward with the emergency repairs while having our attorney Hand determine who has rightful ownership of the roadway.
Second that.
Oh, second that. You got it?
Okay, Vice Mayor, would you like to make a motion?
I just did.
Okay, thank you. All right,
Seconded.
we got a second?
Yes, we have a second, Ms. Kenny.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Pass unanimous. I guess the only trick bag we get into is if the quote comes back over 5,000. But is
No,
this,
I've already got it in writing. Posted. It was 5,100 including tax. So if you take the tax out of that, because we are tax
Okay.
exempt, it's 4,700 and change, give or take.
Important project, looks like it's gonna crash in if you have.
Yes.
Further interest.
And for some reason, if it does go above that, I'll share with council in October's meeting. But until then, I'll move forward.
very good. What else?
That's it. I hope. That's it. That's it. Very good trip today to Oxford Downs. Chief and I met afterwards. We're exploring some other stuff as well as a result of that. But anytime you want to go to lunch again to somewhere like that, just let me know.
Okay.
Because that was the 3 hours of my day. I didn't have anything to worry about but sitting in the back
There you go.
seat. So that was a good trip.
So council, it really is incumbent upon us to put this on the top of our list to resolve. So we're going to need to push on this. This police station, as we know, has been going on for 2 years. And we need to, it's time to make a decision, and let's go with it. Ms. Odom, do you have anything to report?
Yes, well, you just made a motion and voted without taking public comment, and I have a hand raised in Zoom,
Okay.
so I would like to allow
Yes.
them to speak.
Hi, you can hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna dive in there and say they just took a vote without public comment. So I figured I'd take care of that. Dominic Batista, 19860 Southwest 93rd Lane, Dunnellon. Of course, they call me the train guy from Chicago in town because that's what I do. I've done a lot of history on the research of the trains in the Dunnellon area, and I still continue to do that. There's all kinds of different weird things going on with the depot and how it was built and the locations it was built and where that road is. There was a water tower there with a pumping station for the locomotives that were there. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy things going on. My suggestion would be, and this is just my opinion and suggestion, CSX loves to promote how they're willing to dive in and help out communities and get things done and be part of the community. And I would recommend reaching out to whoever the PR folks are there and tell them the dilemma and tell them that, you know, this is a time for CSX. If they want to play, you know, we're so part of your community, then let's step up to the plate and help us out and get this done. That would be my only suggestion. Other than that, if you make the repair and you're going to wait for CSX to reimburse you, that'll never happen. It's just not going to happen. They've got 163 right-of-ways all over Marion County, and there's issues on many of them. So that's what I have to say. And you know, however you guys want to move forward, move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Dominic. Ms. Odom, since we took a motion and a vote before the public comment, maybe we need to redo it?
I would.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'll redo my comment, my motion, and of course, I think that it would be a good idea to reach out to CSX PR to see if they'll come fix it, but I think it's a immediate fix now for the betterment of our citizens.
Very good. Would you remake your motion? We need to redo this.
Sure. I move that Troy Slattery and staff be directed to repair River Road as fast as possible because it is a emergency for the citizens of Dunnellon, to speak with Andrew Hand to find out the ownership of said road, and if possible to have CSX reimburse us if it is their road.
We have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
The only thing I'd like to discuss
Oh.
is
Hmm?
one thing.
Yes, go ahead.
Is there a way that we could look back on our records, old tax maps and so on, to see if there's any evidence, any artifacts that might back up who really is the owner of that lane?
I have as much as I can in what we have in our computerized database. And also Florida Northern has also looked at the original plat maps, and that's how they determined originally that was their road and access. However, they can't find any documents where it's ever been leased or given ownership to anybody else. So that's where we're at right
Thank
now.
you.
But we'll continue to do an internal search.
Very good. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, we just did it. Before we wrap this up, Ms. Odom, I have been approached by a couple citizens recently, and they have asked me why we no longer have a CRA board. I did notice on our CRA money, it's over $600,000. Is that correct?
That's the budget for CRA, $624,000.
So I wasn't part of the government when the CRA board was eliminated. Can we put that on the workshop for discussion, CRA board? Because when we're dealing with $600,000, I think we need to discuss a little bit how that was done in the past and why it was eliminated.
I can tell you from my recollection, it was due to lack of participation. The advisory board was eliminated. You serve as the CRA board, the city council or the CRA board, just wear two different hats. But there was an advisory board that we just couldn't get volunteers to serve on. So at some point, like I said, to the best of my recollection, I believe that's why council chose to eliminate that.
Well, let's put it on the agenda and let's discuss that. I didn't realize we were dealing with that kind of money. That's significant money. And I do realize that council does have the final say. But having some sort of participation from the residents who are out there living and seeing and give recommendations to us, I don't see how we can go wrong with that. At least I'd want to discuss it. Okay, any other department heads? Yeah. Do you have anything for us, Juliana? Not yet? Okay, very good. Anything else? Chief?
No, I was just saying, I would just get immediate stuff. Right? Gotcha.
Chief?
Number one, I had 3 of the local ministers graduate from chaplain school. The Reverend Russ Randall, Reverend Alan Brooks, Reverend Tom Golden, and Tom Welch. They graduated from a chaplain school. They will be part of now being on call for our victims or for our police officers who's under crisis situations or who we do work quite a few deaths in Dunnellon, and sometimes the victims, the family doesn't know what to do or how to take care of the death. So I have now 4 chaplains that is certified by the Florida Chiefs Police Association and the National Chief of Police Association that can handle situations like this when people are in crisis. Number 2, the reason I was late, as the mayor knows, I was at the Litter Task Force meeting, which I am a member of now. And Craig Curry, who's our recently elected commissioner, put the Litter Task Force together. And I think this is going to be something very positive for Marion County, for the city of Dunnellon, Bellevue, and the town of Reddick. Hopefully that Ocala will get on board with the task force also. And we're going to try not only educate people why the litter is so bad, one, for the environment, for the animals, and not only that, it looks horrible for our county to see as much litter that we do see. So it's going to be a pleasure sitting on this committee. Of course, I'm on the rules and regulations, the ordinance and enforcement rules and regulations. And so we have a marketing committee, a community outreach and education, and also a fiscal. So this is going to be a good task force, and it's going to be a pleasure to serve on it. And I'm also very proud of my 4 chaplains.
Very good, Chief.
That's all I have.
Any questions? Thank you very much, Chief. Anything else? All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Okay, we have that, and Vice Mayor seconds. All in favor?
Peace, I got a long drive.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
I see you coming, and I knew I had to first sitting there, and you came up, I didn't even look around. Sorry about that.
Fine.
That's under the number 5, right? So this is one more
What do you think about mine? What do you think about that? Because it's just a topic. Yeah, or could we use somebody from my county? Yeah. Starting tomorrow. Yeah. So, I'm gonna I really have requested discussion on Wednesday's workshop. What I'm really serious about just let them know. I really feel like, hey, Georgina, we've talked about, Troy, after you left the other day, Troy and I talked about possibly getting a landscape plan for a use plan for that park. So I don't know if that would ever fly, but it might be good because I feel like if we have one would be and maybe Marion County has one that does that for their park. That's something I'm happy except for my
She's complaining I'm not bringing back for that. You read us that word.
Probably stopped the recording. Yeah. It's probably still on it. It's that button there.